The village was alive that fateful morning. Music filled the air, women danced, children laughed, and in the center of it all stood Adaeze, beautiful, happy, full of hope. Beside her was her husband, Chinedu, proud and smiling. Her best friend, Ifunanya, adjusted her veil and she whispered softly and said, "You deserve this happiness." Her cousin, Amaka, danced without care, while Uncle Keke supervised the food like a commander he is. But in one corner sat Aunty Ngozi, quiet, watching. Beside her is her friend Mama Ebere, who leaned closer and whispered to Aunty Ngozi, "Everything is working for her." Aunty Ngozi smiled, but not from her heart. When it was time for gifts, people come forward one by one. Then Aunty Ngozi stood. She walked slowly, holding a neatly wrapped box. Aunty Ngozi said softly, "My daughter, this will bless your home." Adaeze smiled, hugged her, and accepted the gift without knowing what it carried. That night, laughter filled their room as Adaeze and Chinedu opened their gift. Not until when they opened Aunty Ngozi's gift, inside was a wooden carving of a woman holding a baby. Adaeze smiled softly. "This is beautiful." And Chinedu said, "This is a good sign." They placed it beside their bed, and just like that, something entered their home. The first year of the marriage was peaceful, no pressure, no worries. Chinedu friend Emeka will visit often. Enjoy your first, enjoy your marriage first, no rush. Moreover, it's your first year. And truly they did. But by the second year, questions began. Chinedu even have to ask Adaeze, "What is going on?" But Adaeze smiled and said, "Mama, we are still waiting." But inside her, she was uneasy. By the third year, the silence became heavy. Hospital visits, test after test. But the doctor confirmed there is nothing wrong, but still, nothing is happening. In the village, people talk. Village women whispers, "She may not have children." Amaka held them and got angry. But Adaeze, she stayed quiet. At night, she cried, and the pressure grew worse and worse and worse. Chinedu mother even brought another woman, and she said to Chinedu, "This one will give you children." But Chinedu refused. But the tension, but tension kept growing worse and worse. One night, he left the house and went to Emeka's house after a heated argument with his wife. He, fu- he, he poured out his frustration to his friend and he said, "I don't understand anymore." But Emeka asked him, "What if this is not medical?" As the days went by, Adaeze began to have a scaring and terrifying dreams. She would see herself carrying a baby, only for a shadow, only for a shadow to take it away, and she would wake up afraid most of the time. Around that time, a new woman moved into the compound, Mama Funaya, quiet but wise. One afternoon, she spoke to Adaeze and she asked her, "We are not at peace." Adaeze couldn't hide anymore. She told her everything. When Mama Funaya stepped into their house, her eyes stopped at the wooden carving and she asked curiously, "Who gave you this?" Adaeze replied, "My auntie, and she gave it to me on my wedding day." Silence filled the room. "This is not ordinary. I think this is blocking your blessing." That night, they gathered. Chinedu, Emeka, Ifunanya, and Adaeze. Under the quiet sky, Mama Ifunanya held the carving. She prayed. Then she smashed it. A strong wind blew. Adaeze fell, but she slowly opened her eyes. She felt lighter and she said she felt free. Weeks passed, then something changed. A missed period, a test, and it was positive. Adaeze told her husband, "It has happened." Emeka held her tightly and couldn't contain his joy. Even Mama Chinedu cried. She only had to beg Adaeze for forgiveness. Not long after, Aunty Ngozi fell sick. Her best friend, Mama Ebere, stayed away and abandoned her, and the villagers began to understand what was the cause of her illness. 9 months later, Adaeze gave birth, and it was a twin, a boy and a girl. Laughter filled the whole house, and Emeka said, after waiting, it was two at once. Adese's story became a lesson in the village, a lesson about patience, about unseen battle, and about being careful even with gifts. Because not every gift comes with good intention. But one thing remains true. What is meant for you, no one can stop forever. Delay is not denial. Be careful who you trust. Your blessings will come.